A good people of Windborne love nothing more than a hanging. Your mother and father are on the gallows in the distance, standing on the rickety chair. Around each of their neck is a noose. There are others in the row as well. Some of them you know by their street name, but you pay no attention to them. The captain of guard is shouting, "For the crimes of thievery most brazen, against households most cherished." They do not even bother to place your mother and father beside each other. There are 4 people apart. 4. Is there a significance to that? Close enough to see one another, but far enough to die alone. Afraid your father is looking up at the sky. Unafraid, your father looking up at the sky as though attempting to read the weather. Your mother is looking down into the crowd near the front row, her eyes fixed on your sister. You know this because you can see Tamara's rich brown hair from here, tied in her distant single braid. She stands tense, her body trembling with rage, as you've seen only a few times. She is insistent on pushing to the front to be near the execution. You tried to stop her, told her that she might be spotted and might be taken too. She called you a coward. It was only later that you realized the only reason you were not on the gallows yourself was that you had already been paid for by the house ruler here, only to be sold again to the Wellington's war machine. "Get on with it," shouts a woman beside you. Others in the mobs are shouting for the captain to move it along. The captain suddenly pauses in the sentencing and grins for a moment and looks up directly at you, his eyes somehow picking up out in the crowd. "For the crime of birthing an animal most depraved, a seed unworthy of breath and light." His teeth are now gritted in rage, and despite his distance from you, the veins in his forehead are plain. He looks at your sister. "For birthing a whore more loathsome and deserving of abandonment, whose value is less than a copper. Her purpose is slack the pleasure of those must be depraved." Her purpose to slack the pleasure of those most depraved. I don't understand that line. Slack at the pleasure of those most depraved? I'm guessing it's like telling her that she's a whore. He looks between your mother and father. "I sentence you both, scum of this world, to strangle by the neck for eternity." For eternity, the mob repeats. And now everyone is turned and is staring at you, their eyes gleeful and cruel and waiting. "I forgive you. For eternity I will fight. None of you are real." "None of you are real," you say. The crowds roar with laughter. "None of you are real," they echo, jeering all as one, chanting it over and over with glee. "You think you can simply deny us and we disappear," says the woman nearby, her rotten brain spilling over you. "It is all real, you remember. But your real memory was different, a little different, wasn't it? Oh, they're gaslighting us." "We are you," shouts one man. "We are you forever. Come back," shouts a familiar voice that echoes through the plaza. It's Egra. "Thog's abomination must not break you, and neither will this. Enough." Life decreases too. "My champion returns," says Egra approvingly. Balor emits an aura of fear as powerful, and it kills most mortals. Your mind and soul must have grown strong. Egra's words are the first thing you hear, but soon your senses return. With comes terrible heat and pain. Fire is all around you, and no doubt you should be consumed, yet the flames bend around you, as though teasing you, as simply unwilling to touch you. Egra chuckles in your mind as the flames fall away to reveal, towering above you, the Balor. You see him, of course. He's huge. You also feel him. He emits rage and despair as much as heat. The massive Balor storms towards you, although his red coal eyes roll beyond you. Do not bother to look upon you as his foot rises up above. He shall end your life without thought or fanfare, or even consciousness of the act. As he has saying countless others. And realize that your muscles that have been locked until this instant when they release. You roll out of the way just as a huge clawed foot slams down, shaking the earth. Morale increases too. Fighting through your terror. That was awful. Fucking hell. Fucking Thog stepped in the wrong moment. Fighting through your terror. You roll to your feet and pivot forward. The passing Balor. Your sword is clutched in your hand. A wash of holy fire. The white flames rising meters into the air. More than you've ever seen before. Likely sensing the Lathian light, the Balor turns his fiendish head as you swing with all your might. Your blades rings and sparks shower as it strikes the Balor's thigh. A chunk of molten flesh the size of a man's hand shears off. Life decreases 2, morale decreases 4. The next thing you know, you've been flying through the air, having been struck by one of the monster's wings. Balor has wings? As you land on your back, you behold the Balor's pointing his long sword at you. The black blade, as pitch and taller than a man, power releases from you, mighty, while at the same time a mighty jet of flame shoots forth from Balor's blade, washing over you. Oh, so it's protecting us like a protecting charm. The heat is horrible, would have made you scream, except that your breath was already sucked from you. Yet rather than instantly roasting you, the flames curve around you like before, as though you are protected by an invisible shell. "My champion shall not die by such mundane means," says Egra. Dralekna. The Balor rumbles from his fanged mouth. His mouth is wide as though in rage. Its throat is white like the hottest fire within the forge. You know what this is? You know what this is doing? this fight with the Balor is sort of putting me in the mindset of forgetting about what the world is and what my action should be next to this and what's happening around me and what's my goal is and what's the godling fight and everything. This fighting sequence is done so well that it's been like, it's putting me into Ultra Instinct mode. You know how Ultra Instinct works with Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, that your character focuses on the opponent, the feeling of the fight, and that's all that remains, the instinctual fighting. That's all that remains for a being. That's what's happening, which is very interesting. It's amazingly putting us in that fucking mood. His mouth is white as his rage, his throat is white like hottest fire within a forge. All the strength drains from you as the dark souls that makes up this thing press down upon you, ripping into you like thousands of small vengeful claws. He called you a maggot, only an abyssal version, which is much fouler, says Agra. The Balor raises his dark sword and steps towards you. His blade burns low with white hot fire, yet the black steel sucks in the light. Certainly no shield from Agra or anything else can protect you from that weapon. He raises his sword higher. Your attention is locked on its pitiless burning eyes. Suddenly the Balor converses as he roars something in his language. The claw of the damned releases you. Oh, he was holding us? I didn't even realize that when that happened. The sword comes down in a terrible downward arc. Your strength is returning, but it will be too late. The blade digs into the cobblestone beside you with a mighty crack. The Balor is now close to his heat. Makes your face burn. Come on, Rooster, he says in common. It is I, Azazel. Protect me and I shall lay waste to these fools. The Balor pulls his sword up, pivots and shoots forth a huge plume of fire from his sword, burning a hole through a mob of demons undead nearby. Wait, the Azazel took over the Balor? Balor's mind? That's amazing. How the hell did that happen? Balor pulls his sword up, pivots and shoots forth a huge plume of fire from his sword, burning a hole through the mob of demons and undead nearby. Strength has completely returned. You leap to your feet. The Balor turns back the way he had come and lashes out his whip, decapitating a horned demon. This is unexpected, you think? The Balor plows forward, slashing, whipping, and bursting with flames, scattered all within his path. Searching for Kriya, she is nowhere in sight. However, Jackal is only 10 meters or so away. He has slung a shapely female body over his shoulder, and you can tell by the fitting chainmail folded wings it must be Azazel. Her legs swinging limply as Jackal pivots and hacks through the skull of an undead nearby undead. You've seen this arrangement before. I don't think this is the best time to do that. Jackal and his unconscious mistress back when the succubus possessed the goblin chieftain. That was no strange lie by the Balor. Azazel truly does control that monster. Is the only thing that makes sense, for no longer does the Balor push out, destroying the enemies of the abyss. Rather, he is now rampaging back through the demons, slaying as he goes, plowing a path towards the temple of eternal love, perhaps Galmicus himself. Impressive, is it not? Says Agra. Indeed, she is the binder of soul. Zelva is hovering about 30 meters above, her beautiful feathered wings beating rhythmically as she stares down at the rampaging Balor. Unexpected to others as well, says Agra. Looks like Azazel has things in order to say, you say. Has things in order, you say. Perhaps it is time to follow the Balor to the temple and get this over with. As the only standing building nearby, you can see the temple clearly enough, although the gates must be 50 meters from here, and on this distance, such a distance is a long way. If you think you're ready, says Agra, you're the one that has been demanding we go there. Your mental reply is interrupted as you hear a pained groan from behind. You spin around as a knight stalks towards you. His sword sheath on his belt is empty, yet he clutches only a dagger. Although his visor is down, you presume he's among the undead. His breastplate has been caved in, and so thoroughly, with no living man could be beating. Within that carcass, your sword blazes. It must be fucking Bone Brow, otherwise they would not have focused on this one character so much, I'm guessing. Although this armor is grievously damaged, it is clearly that it has been sliced highest quality. It is of the highest quality, as it is stenciled with gold. Gold is not strong, what the hell? Maybe, I suppose titanium gold alloys could be strong. I highly doubt they know how to make alloys. This certainly was one of the Duke's best knights. You can tell by the way he moves fluidly in the heavy armor that some of his martial skill has been carried over into the undead. Swing for his legs to disable him. As for the decapitation, yeah, just run from him. Well, who cares about him? Fuck it. Run. Wise retreat, says Agra. Allow that goal to find another victim. Given that much, the only other things that are, because if it's slugging around, like, it definitely will not be able to catch us. So who cares about fucking fighting it? Let's go. Given that pretty much the only other thing that are alive nearby are demons and devils, more than likely the undead will spend its life upon one of those. That would be perfect. Not between a pair of slower undead, one of which takes a swipe at you, but you're already out of reach. Quickly, you find a fallen stone pillar to hide behind. You peek around your hiding place and see Jackal still swerving about, hacking down undead as they close in on him, and his unconscious mistress slung on his shoulder. While possessing the Balor, Azazel said something about protecting her so that she could fight the enemy. At the time, you thought she meant protect the Balor, but you didn't want to be near that inferno. Perhaps she meant for you to protect her unconscious body. Azazel said, "You have common enemies. The temple will have to wait." Azazel must not lose control of the monster, or else the Balor will crush the lines of Duke and Maiden Avis. He runs towards the Jackal, cutting your way down. One undead at a what? Cutting down one undead on the way. As you approach, Jackal turns swiftly to face you, his eyes red on your sword. "I will keep my distance, Baron," you say. "I shall help protect your burden." He growls and spins to face another onrushing attacker. What an interesting alliance, Azegra. What would your beloved Maiden Avis say about this? You rush over and intercept an incoming undead charging at Jackal. I can't read. You lop off its head. A movement from above catches your attention. It's Zelva swooping down, her eyes locked on Jackal, her hands glowing fiercely. "Jackal, beware above," you shout as you leap away from the Dog Knight. Crack. Mighty chain lightning spoke from Zelva's hands, striking all around and deafening you with thunder. Next thing you see is a Dog Knight on the ground. His lower chest plate has a scorched hole in it. His visor is up, his demonic eyes burn, yet there may be fear there. Azazel's limp body lies nearby, along with body parts of other unfortunate to have been too close to Jackal during that strike. Zelva is smiling, obviously relishing her victory. "To oblivion, Azazel, binder of souls," she shouts. A new spell is forming on her fingertips, a ball of silver and shadow swirling together. "Save her, champion," says Agra. Certainty wells up within you. As Azazel perishes now, the tide of battle shall turn decisively to the demons, and all will be lost. It would be nice to distract Zelva with an illusion. This likely would not work on a demon lord. A few other options come to your mind. Throw a fireball. Transform into Azazel to confuse Zelva. Run over and drag Azazel away. That's probably not good. Yeah, transform into Azazel to confuse Zelva. Over the course of about 2 seconds, your arm becomes slimmer and your clothing morphs into close-fitted chainmail. In your peripheral, your hair curls slightly and changes to dark black. Your breasts now press up against your arm. Evidently, Azazel likes push-up fashion. Alright, you look up in time to see a dark crackling ray shoot forth from Zelva's outstretched hand. The ray strikes the ground with a hiss. Azazel's body and everything around it is gone. Now there is only a crater, smoking crater. "You delayed too long, champion," says Agra. There is a terrible roar of rage off in the distance. Turning, you see a halo of fire rise up. The Balor is upset. "No," you shout unthinkingly. There's a shout from above, something in abyssal, but you catch it. But you catch Azazel in it. "Zelva, what happened?" There's a terrible hissing sound as the crackling ray falls upon you, and there's nothing. Unless you finally say, yeah, got it. Redo last choice. I don't quite get that, but something happened. I guess we took 2 seconds and it destroyed that, and then Balor destroyed everything in the battlefield, I'm guessing. Let's just throw a fireball at Zelva. Favor decreases 4, morale increases 1 fireball. You shout in your mind as you cock back your arm as though ready to throw a fireball. Oh, we are literally throwing a fireball. I thought it would just put his hand forward or something. Agra is more than ready. You instantly feel heat in the palm of your hands. You throw. The fireballs streak up quickly towards Zelva. She points her one glowing head at Azazel, but her attention is pulled towards the oncoming fireball just before it detonates. Whoosh, a direct hit. You were always a good shot with thrown objects. Nevertheless, you take no time to bask in your glory. You sprint to Azazel, hoist her onto your shoulder. In your other hand, you still clutch your sword, which burns bright. Your blade tugs towards your burden. Evidently, your sword wishes to execute Azazel, unconscious or not. You hazard to look up and see that the flames from your spell have cleared and Zelva is unharmed without even so much as a singed feather within her gorgeous wings. On the plus side, you seem to have interrupted the spell she has been casting. You run. There's a high-pitched scream of anger from above, no doubt from Zelva, but you do not take the time to look. Now is the time to run and evade your hunter. You've always been a good runner, but run where? You could follow the possessed Balor. After all, he has cleared a bit of a path for you. Another option would be to find cover from Zelva in the most expeditious way, possibly, and head directly into the thick of the combatants. Let's follow Balor. If Azazel is truly possessing the Balor, then that monster is the closest thing you have to an ally in the sight. Inside, you sprint along the Balor's path, a path of burning bodies and smoking wreckage. Some of the corpses are already beginning to rise. You step on one giant ward-strewn, smoldering corpse, perhaps a troll, as it twitches and groans. With the succubus on your shoulder, the unsteady footing makes you twist to keep your balance. In that moment, you catch a glimpse of Zelva, a huge horn making it obvious where she is looking straight at you. Thirdly, she shall rain spells down upon you, so you begin to run zigzag as you run. The combatants the path is beginning to close as the combatants push in from the sides. Ahead, the Balor has turned and is stomping back towards you, shredding the corpse with his whip as they rise, shearing other bodies apart with his sword, and stomping still more with his massive claw.